did not want to go after lessons. This makes absolutely no sense, okay? How's everybody doing? Good. Isn't this like beautiful, like an afternoon with the authors? Like, how hot is that? I'm just happy to be here. I'm thanking Nakia for inviting me. The name of my book is called In Life Recycled. And a life recycled, the transformation. What a life recycled is, it's literally just what it says. You go through life thinking that you're nothing, that you can do nothing. No one ever affirmed you. No one ever told you all these things. And they kind of throw you and toss you to the side and not thinking that you're going to be anything. You know how we throw away paper and we throw away plastic and we put it in a recycling bin? And it's garbage to us. And sometimes that's how we treat people. We look at their lives and we think they're going to be nothing. They're going to do nothing. They're headed in the wrong path. But I promise you that if you take and you put your life in God's hand, He can recycle your life. Sometimes the stuff that they make out of recycled goods are better than what it originally was. You're like, that was recycled? They made that out of that? That's what God can do in your life. This book was my inspiration for writing this book. My mother was 13 when she was pregnant with me. I can't even begin to imagine being somebody's mother at the age of 13. She's the oldest of she's the oldest girl out of 7 children. She didn't grow up with her mother. My grandmother got killed when she was 5 years old. So my mother and her brothers and sisters had to go and live with her uncle, who also had 4 other kids. So now you got 11 kids in the household. My mother, being the oldest girl, had to cook, clean, go through all of those. And so remember when I said I always thought my mother was an older woman? She had a really old soul because she had been through a lot in life. And what I realized, and we're talking about the whole affection, I understand what you're saying, and I realized that she couldn't give me when nobody gave her. And what happened was it began to be passed on from generation to generation. And even though my mother instilled integrity in us and she taught us how to do the right thing, she made sure we had food and she made sure that we had clothing and all of those things that we needed, she never taught me that I could do things. She never told me that I was special. She never told me that I had gifts, that I had talents, that I had abilities. She used to always say she had 4 mistakes. And because I'm the oldest child, I always took it the hardest. So when you say you had a mistake, in my mind, the first time you do something, that's a mistake. So I always thought that I was the mistake, and she was just saying she had 4 mistakes to kind of just like make everyone feel like we're equal. I didn't take it that way. But what I found out was over the years, and I heard her talking on the telephone to someone, and what she really meant was the doctors had told her that they didn't understand how she was able to have children because medically, some things that were going on in her body, it was impossible for her to have children. So then I deduced in my mind that no, we weren't mistakes, we were miracles, which changed my entire outlook on my life. Growing up, I suffered from low self-esteem, not knowing who I was, going through molestation, just the whole gamut of so many things that plagued my life. But what I realized, I was angry, and I was bitter, and I was not happy. I have 2 daughters, and my oldest daughter is 20 years old, and I have a baby that's 7 years old. And I realized my daughters are watching me. What type of message am I sending them? And I didn't want to send the wrong message to them. I need for them to know that they are strong women, that they have gifts, that they have talents, that you were not an afterthought. Like God didn't say, okay, you're here now, let me see what I'm going to do with you. No. Before you even came to this earth, there was a plan for your life. And so I encourage people to discover that plan. So what a life recycled is, and it's actually, I call it a guide. It's a tool to help you transition, and that's why it's called the transformation. Transition into your purpose. Because if you want to talk about what's really going on in the world and what's going on out in society, It's because people don't know who they are. They have not gotten on their mission. They have not gotten on their assignment. Because I promise you, if they do, we wouldn't have half of this nonsense going on that we have going on out here now. It's because people don't know who they are. When you don't know who you are, you don't value your life, so guess what? You're not valuing other people's lives also. So I use a life recycle, and it actually kind of came out of the work that I do in supporting our sisters, and thank all my supporting our sisters ladies for being here and supporting today. I do an 8-week course for women called Life by Design. There is a design for your life. And what I do is I take them through 8 weeks of self-worth, self-esteem, understanding who you are, purpose, goals, unhealthy relationships, and not even just unhealthy relationships with other people, unhealthy relationships with yourself. Because see, you have to know who you are, and you have to be in touch with you so that you can be able to communicate well with others. You have to know what you stand for. You have to be able to say, I'm not tolerating that. We have to know these things. So we go through all of these sessions, and then we do this session that's called the transformation, the healing. Because each week what I'm doing is systematically peeling back the layers. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in our life. And what we're dealing with in our adult life are things that happened to us when we were children. That all we did was because we didn't deal with them and we didn't know how to. Now as we're older, we're able to better process things in our mind. So there is a process that we need to go to get to our healing, so that we can know who we are, so that we can know exactly what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And what I found is that people don't know where to start. Okay, so you say there's a plan for my life. There is purpose for my life, and I'm supposed to be doing something. Where do I start? And this is literally how a life recycle was born. To give people that entryway. I call it the gateway to kind of segue into what am I supposed to do with my life? And I give a couple of scenarios of different people's story. And it's not necessarily a particular person. These are people that I've either talked to, known, heard about, and plus I have a wild imagination. So I tell a couple of stories but they're real things in real people's lives that go on that stop them from being everything that they were created to be. I understand that my mission in life is helping other people discover what their mission is. Somebody needs to kind of guide you through somewhere, through something, to lead you to that point where you need to be in your life. And so what happens is there are sections of this book, and it's broken down into 9 chapters, starting with looking in the mirror. Just different things that you need to confront about yourself. Because first of all, before you even go through this process, you have to be honest with you. It's not even something, in this process, is something that you have to do on your own. Nobody can't do it for you. It's a hard process. And what I realize is that most people want to get there, but sometimes the pain, it's too painful to even continue through that process. So sometimes you need somebody to kind of hold your hand and guide you, to let you know that, yeah, this is rough right now, but I promise you there is healing on the other side. Because that's what we want. We want healing so that we can be whole. Because what's happening is we're teaching our children. Our children are watching us. It's not necessarily what we're saying. They're watching what we're doing. So none of this do as I say, not as I do. No, I don't even know who came up with that. Because they're not doing that. They are watching everything you do. And I know, I have my 7-year-old, she is on me. I'm like, please. Like, I can't even make a move. You know, so I know that they are watching us. And what message are we sending to them? And when we think about, I think about society, I feel like a lot of our kids growing up now, we kind of almost have a lost generation. Where it's like, okay, somebody has to do something other than just shake their head. Other than just say, that's a shame. It has to be a little bit deeper than that. And I started a mentoring program in addition to the women we do teen girls, because I realized, again, a lot of our problems that we have started when we were children and teenagers. So I'm thinking in my mind, how about we just cut this off at the path? and start dealing with some of these things now, so that as we get older, the kids get older, they don't have to kind of walk in these same things. You know, the mother-daughter relationship is the most complex relationship of them all. And I call it it's like the ditch. It's like you literally can see your daughter heading towards that way. And you want to stop her, and she's not listening. Because she thinks you in her business, and no, it's because we've been there. And we want to try to save our children. So this book it's an easy read. And like I said, it's 9 chapters, and it just takes you through the transformation process of it. And throughout the book, I also added in there what I call twisdoms. And twisdoms are Towanda's words of wisdom. And one of the twisdoms that I had, and it's so funny because something happened about 2 weeks ago where I had to use one of my own twisdoms on myself. Like I had to talk to myself through this. But one of the favorite ones that it's called laryngitis of the soul. And what laryngitis of the soul is when you have the power to change something and you do nothing. Imagine what's going on inside of your soul. How it cries out, because you could have said something, you could have done something, you could have moved a different way, you could have told somebody something. We all have a purpose. And I'm telling you, there are adults walking around, and some even still in this room, that do not know why they're here. Because when you were younger, the dreams that you had, somebody killed your dreams. Told you that that's not real, don't even think about that, and you can't make any money doing that, but your soul still aches for that. When you do it, it just lights up. Get back to that. See, sometimes we have to go back to that. What was it when I was younger that I said, when I grow up, I want to be? What is that thing that when you do it that makes your soul sing? Think about those things. And then know that it doesn't matter what you've been through in your life. Everything is usable. Everything can be recycled. It doesn't matter, as Leslie even talked about, how you got here. It does not matter. God does not make mistakes. You are not an afterthought. He knew you before you were in your mother's belly. He knew you. There's no one else like you. Nor will there ever be anyone else like you. We all walk different, we talk different, we look different, we sashay different, we dress different. We just got it going on in all areas. But we're so busy trying to be like somebody else. Why don't we just proclaim our rarity and be who we are? Amen. How about we just do that? Yes. Do that. And then realize that God can transform your life. And you too can have a life that has been recycled. Thank you.